Welcome to the Beating Heartland, created by Denver Baughman.
Episode 21. The Car.
Okay, you're on. I don't remember what to... this is journal entry 3, I guess. Come on! You gotta remember this. Okay, you'll get there. It's January 19th. This all began 19 days ago. No, this has been my whole life. Focus. Okay, focus, Denver. You're Denver. Am I? Yeah, because I don't feel... I'm alive, but I feel... Well, I just feel. Everything. Pulled hundreds of directions. Impressions of people and objects needing my power. The words power. Is this what they felt like? It's terrible. You know, like an entire school of kids screaming at me. I want a toy truck. I want to watch the life leave my husband's eyes. I can barely drive straight. Oh yeah, I took Philip's car. He left the keys in. I guess he just wanted to leave quickly, but I don't think he's gonna need them anytime soon. Yeah, probably dead. When I woke in the cave after the words entered my body, infused into me, I don't know what to call it, I was alone. Except for the phone ringing and Ariadne's message. And that was a few days ago, 17th, I guess. I'd been asleep almost the entire day. Honestly, surprised it wasn't longer. My body was acclimating, trying to understand the foreign presence in me. Parts being replaced by something new. Any sign of the word's previous body was gone. Not even dried blood on the rocks. I can feel it. Not the pulling. That's stronger than ever, but it's from every direction now. And it moves in my veins. And sometimes I see it under my skin. Blackness, like a faint tattoo, moving. I'm alive, but so is it. We're both one and separate. I can't access it. Not really. Yeah, I don't know if I want to. It's asleep, and I hope it stays that way. Huh. I think that car's following me. One sec. Okay, that car's definitely following me. I can't see who's driving, it's too far away, but I took a lot of pointless turns, and they're still there. But I'm probably just being paranoid or something. Sorry, what was I saying? I can't... You can't lose track, come on. I have the power. The words... power. I know I do, I can feel it, but my brain can't comprehend it. Not really. It's like a new arm. The nerve endings haven't fully attached. I don't know how to use it. My brain is scattered. More so than before, if that's possible. I don't feel like Denver. Like me. I'm still trying to remember everything that happened. I sat in that cave for days. Tried to piece a semblance of self back together like a child learning to walk. I can feel so much more. It's like I didn't know what feelings were. Ariadne, she called. She brought me back. Her voice, it was like a hook, dragging me out of the water. But when the message stopped, I was alone again. I didn't eat or drink, I just consumed the feeling of the words all around. We were all linked. It grows fainter the farther away it is, but I could still sense all of it. Feelings, but not understanding. Does that make any sense? The first thing of me that came back was stories. I remembered I like to tell stories. That's what we do. So I started recording the journal entries, and they brought me back. Saying the words and telling my story helps me focus. It helps me be me. The words are still in here. They're not going anywhere, but they're in the back. And if I hold on, maybe they'll stay that way for a bit. At least until I finish this, whatever this is. The first 2 journal entries explained what happened at my mom's house and in the tunnels. But after that, I had enough strength to leave the cave. When I left the cave mouth, the horizon was just starting to glow with morning light. Philip's car was right where we'd left it. Mom's house was now just a glade with a hole in the ground. I didn't look back at the cave. I couldn't let it suck me back in. I had a purpose, a direction, and I had to hold on to that. So I got in the car, and I drove. The drive started pleasant enough. Familiar. I needed that. Flat Illinois roads, frosted over cornfields, ruined farms, and the occasional small forest. It's the same if you drive for 1 hour or 10. Impossible to tell where you are. And there's something oddly comforting about that. No surprises. There's not supposed to be, anyway. Of course, with my luck, there was. I didn't see anyone else on the road for over an hour. It was early morning, so I didn't expect to see many people. The world wasn't awake yet. But to see no one, that's not normal. Morning mist speckled the fields and trees, frost was on the ground, and everything seemed frozen in time. The fog sat still and heavy, hiding the horizon, only allowing immediate buildings, fields, and poles through the haze. Lost in the mist, like the world was taunting me. You're meant to be alone. About 2 hours into the drive, I noticed something, other than being alone. I'd seen that barn before, hadn't I? I tried to brush it off. Every barn looks similar, but the feeling of déjà vu continued. A tree, knotted and old, with a tire swing whose rope was on the verge of snapping. A house with peeling yellow paint. The type of color impossible to forget. Or a cemetery where every headstone was some priest. Everything felt familiar, because I had driven past it all before. Many times. I glanced at the clock. It was still early, and I'd only been driving a few hours, but it felt like days had passed. I was trapped. And I knew it now. Tree, the swing, the house, the graves, the barn, the corn, the endless corn all around. The fog hiding endless secrets behind the veil. The tree, the swing, the house, the graves, the barn, the corn, the rope threatening to snap. Then an exit appeared out of the fog. Exit 0. I took it. And thankfully, the scenery shifted. I wasn't caught in the loop. A town appeared out of the fog. Haven, Illinois. It was small. A little larger than Shannon, but that isn't saying much. As I drove through it, I noticed something. It was empty. There were no cars in the driveways or the general store parking lot. Several of the house's doors were open to black interiors. There was no sign of struggle. None of the houses were even ransacked. They were just empty. It was a picturesque view of the apocalypse. Peaceful, terrifying. And then I remembered. I'd already driven through Haven. I don't know what made me remember. Was it the church? Its front door was open, and revealed a row of pews that looked like teeth. Or was it the supermarket, one bulb flickering over cases of beer? Or the statue of the town founder, whose face had been worn down over the years, leaving it blank? The memory of the town just drifted away. A half-remembered dream. How many times had I driven through Haven? How long had I been trapped? I wasn't free. I looked down at the clock. It was stuck at noon. I think the car is gone. Probably just paranoid. But it's gone. Okay. You're probably wondering where I'm going. Whoever you are listening to these, I don't even know if anyone will, but maybe it's just me. Years from now, looking back. Is that asking too much that I'll still be here to listen to these? I mentioned a purpose, something to guide me. I didn't remember at first in the cave. My mind was shattered, but slowly it came back to me. The words, or the pulling, is still at work inside, pulling me towards my next goal, my next desire. Because, turns out the pulling is me. The words made that clear ন্য. I'm forcing the words to guide or change to do what I want, or... Anyway, they don't have much power themselves. So I can only hope that this pulling is more me. I'm trying to find my dad's research. Find his cabin, lodge, shack, wherever he hid his findings on the words and the family. At least he had information according to the words, but they weren't lying. They were afraid. They'd lost control of him or something along the way. I mean, how long had the words been working on him? Months? Years? The words had wanted him to be their next vessel or something, but he'd learned something. Shattered his trust. He'd wanted to kill the monsters, protect people. And that was the desire that the words fed. And apparently he found it. Just not how the words wanted it. Maybe it's not true, but it was enough for the family to want to kill him. And they don't really seem to kill unless it's necessary, or, for the sacrifices. Which I guess is a way to renew their bodies, or... I don't know, regardless, them being scared means that there is a way. So that's why I'm going, because Dad hid from them, used the word's powers against them for a time, somehow. I need what he knew. Maybe it's a way to harness this, to kill them, hide. I know this is stupid. I know this won't go how I want. I'm just trying. This is something to latch onto. It's something I can learn about him. He's just still this question mark that I don't understand. He's been up here in my head, helping me through all of this. There has to be something there for me. Something from him. I can feel it. And I know I'm headed in the right direction. I don't know if that's coming from Dad or the words. It's impossible to know where any of this is coming from up here right now. It's just all muddled together. But I feel like myself again. And I need to hold on to that for as long as I can. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. The drive, earlier today, that was today. The car beeped after an unknowable amount of time passed in the loop. I snapped out of looking at the infinite sameness that clutched my vehicle, refusing to let me escape, and glanced down at the dashboard. I needed fuel. And as soon as that realization hit, a gas station appeared through the fog. Its sign glowed with a flickering, dust-covered light. Gas stations usually pop up in the strangest places in the Midwest. There's something to break up the monotony. Fill up, grab a snack or a drink, talk to the cashier, and remember that society exists, not just the endless farmland. The gas station was packed. Finally, a sign of life, but it felt like the whole town of Haven was here. The gas station was one of those ma and pop operations, so the number of pumps was impressive. Several dozen cars were parked at the pumps, and even more filled the parking spots. Only one parking spot remained, like it was meant for me. And maybe it was. I looked at the clock, and it still said noon. I hadn't left the loop. Whatever was doing this, it wanted me, and it was here. Even with the power of the words inside of me, I felt helpless. No plan, no way to escape, just useless words inside of me I couldn't use. I sat in the car for a while, waiting for a pump to free up, but it never did. Everyone was inside the gas station. I could see their shuffling forms past the frost-tinted windows. The warm light inside beckoned. At least there are people inside. Nice, warm. I walked in. The bell dinged. It was old, a tinny, high-pitched ring. The people, I guess we'll call them people, milled about the station shelves like zombies, barely conscious. No one seemed in the mood to leave. They bumped and shuffled past each other, occasionally looking at an item before moving on. The cashier sat behind his desk, eyes lazily reading a newspaper. He seemed to be scanning the same words over and over again. I watched everyone for several minutes, and I noticed the loop. An older lady eyed a pack of cigarettes, then shuffled away, only to come back and eye the same pack. A man limped toward the beers and picked one up, placed it back, but returned a few moments later. A young boy in the back spilled his ice cream and started crying, sniffling, laughing, then crying again. Everyone was like this. They were just all unaware that they were doing the same thing over and over again. "You gonna buy that?" a voice said. I turned and saw the cashier. He was a pot-bellied anchor of a man. I noticed a rifle tucked behind the counter, but it was dusty. He only needed his hands. He sighed and pointed. "I said, you gonna buy that?" Confused, I glanced down, and in my hands was a book. Not just any book. One of my... the words. One of their books. On the outside, it appeared to be a tourist book about the many roadside attractions near here. But inside, I could hear the whispers of the words calling. It felt different than before, more personal and less tempting. I should have put it together sooner. I could feel it. Of course, the words were responsible for the loop, but what was using them? "I don't have any money on me," I said. Possibly a lie. I never checked. The man eyed me. "He doesn't want money, boy. He's out back." He pointed a large finger towards the door, past the crying child. Who? I asked. The man's face went slack. "I don't know." He returned to reading, and a small bead of sweat formed on his forehead. Book in hand, I walked past. Whatever had power over this area wanted to talk to me, and had a book. I didn't have a choice. I opened the back door and was met with a large, snowy field that stretched past the horizon. It was January, but winter was late. We'd had a few flurries since late October, but nothing like this. It was freezing, like I'd been thrown into a meat locker. I looked around to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. But no, the field was real. And the thing that caused the snow was staring at me about 10 yards away. The first thing I noticed was that it didn't have eyes. Only sockets where eyes had frozen and crumbled off long ago. But it still stared. There are only a few patches of skin left on the face, blue-gray and dangling from muscle and bone. Its few teeth shone with an icy glint. Its bones were like icicles. It never moved, not that I could see, and it never talked, but I understood. The words inside helped me understand. What have you done? No words. Just the cold air biting my face. I don't know. I took the power, the words. They sleep. Yes. What have you done? I just told you. What have you done? I can't remember what I said. I was angry. The whole situation, the words don't matter. Whatever I said, the thing wasn't phased. What have you done? It sounded sad, and that feeling also washed over me. I collapsed in the snow and cried. It's a bit much, but it had been a while, and I hadn't been able to talk to anyone but myself about what had happened. I'm losing me. I glanced up, and it stood in front of me. What have you done? Behind, a crow flew from a tree towards a creek, but suddenly turned around and flew back to the same tree. And then it did it again, and again, and I understood. Not what have you done, what will you do? You don't understand time, I said. The creature stared. Skin flapped in the wind. A little piece broke off and disappeared into the sky. Biting silence. This thing wasn't human. It never had been, either. I could feel that, too. The words interacted differently with it. I think it was one of the monsters that had always been here, or had come here at some point. It found the book. Just like us, it used it. Changed itself and the area around. Caused the time loop. It didn't understand time. The loop was all it knew now. So past, future, present, it was all the same to it. What will you do? Why? I asked. Why trap others in the loop? What do you get out of it? Death. Everything dies. Everything. It didn't say it, but I know it meant the family. The words family. I replied, yes, somehow, they die. And them? It meant the people inside the gas station. A lot of context was missing in our conversation, but somehow the meanings were understood. We spoke practically a different language. The words could fit complex thoughts, power, and details into relatively little information. I'll do my best to translate it. I looked back, and the door was still open. The people milled about the shelves, the boy still hunched over his ice cream crying, and I could see his face. He was pale, bags under his eyes, sweat beading. And I looked at the cashier, and his fist trembled. He winced in pain as he shifted his weight. All of them, they're dying, I said, soft, only loud enough for the wind. Died, it said. Will die, I corrected. The same. I looked at the book. Why give me this? I leave, the words lose power here, and death follows. For you. For them. This thing knew what I was going to do. What I was trying to do. It could feel it through the words. We were connected. The words connected all of us. And they died, it said. The family. It wanted them dead too. You're trapped, I said. All trapped, it said. Yes, we are. I felt the pulling of the book. The power in the pages wanted to meet with mine, but couldn't until the creature let go. "Thank you for helping me," I said. "Die!" It was directed at me. The wind bit deep into my skin, towards the pulsing power, the inky blackness inside. Yes. There was a sucking noise as the wind compressed around me, rushing towards the gas station. The pressure increased, my ears popped, and blood trickled from my nose. My body collapsed into the snow, my weight pressed against the cold. The creature's body began to crack and shatter. The muscles, bones, and ice sucked towards the book. The last thing left was its mouth, which sighed in relief as the teeth broke free. There was a final ear-splitting howl of wind, and then silence. The creature was gone. The book lay in a patch of brown grass. The snow melted 10 feet around it. I stood, picked up the book, and the words inside were gone. Well, not gone. Inside of me. And the book disintegrated into snow. For a brief moment, I saw images, heard whispers, and I understood the words. The words inside me intermingled and grew, then retreated to my subconscious and hid from me, where I couldn't find them and couldn't understand them, just beyond my grasp. I turned around, and inside the gas station, everyone was dead. I saw the boy first. His body splayed, face in the ice cream. The cashier lay limply on his desk, hands no longer trembling. There were over 30. The skin was gray, tight against their bones. They'd all been dead a long time. They just didn't know it. And I showed them. I found the keys to the cashier's truck in his pocket. I didn't want to grab them, but the pumps were all filled up, and I needed a vehicle. I hesitated and looked around. I wanted to do something, to honor them in some way, but the pulling inside of me was leading me on again. And I had to keep moving. I don't know how long I have with these words asleep, but I can't waste it. I stepped outside, grabbed my phone from Philip's car, and entered the cashier's truck. And now I'm here, driving towards pieces of my dad. I'm no longer trapped in the loop. It disappeared when I took ownership of the book. The clock is at 6 now. I haven't called Ariadne back. Probably should clarify that. She left me a few texts, but I haven't opened them. I don't know if I should call her. I mean, what would I say? Oh, well, stabbed a torso in the chest and took the power of a being that changes the very nature of reality. You know, that thing. So I really don't. I don't want to call her because she'll know I'm not Denver. Not fully. You know. So you're gonna help me, okay? You'll listen, whoever you are, even if it's no one. And keep me. Trap! Sir. Sir, please. Are you okay? Okay. You're gonna be fine. I'm gonna help you, okay? Just please. Just please wake up. It's gonna be okay. No. Get off. No.
The Beating Heartland was written by Denver Baughman. If you enjoyed the show,
please rate and review us on whatever streaming platform you are using. Follow us online at The Beating Heartland. Thank you for listening.